hold of me at jdwatchservice@gmail.com, and please subscribe and click that little bell, and when I put a new video on, you're going to get it. You're going to get it. So today I'm looking at this beautiful Waltham watch you can see on the upper right hand side, and it's got a wind indicator. Or is it a wind indicator? I think wind and wind are spelt exactly the same, and I am not a good speller. Let me tell you that. Let me tell you that. So when I was a little kid, they used to have the spelling bees, if you recall, and they put the boys on one side and the girls on the other side. And they said, and I was number one on the wall, and they said, "Hey, JD, I want you to spell maybe." And I spelled it really fast. I went M-A-B-Y. They sit down. Sit down. And I'm like, why am I sitting down? Maybe, M-A-B-Y. It makes perfect sense to me. That's one word I didn't know when I was in grade 1. Pizza, P-I-T-S-A. You can't find it in the phone book when you spell it that way, by the way. Pizza, P-I-T-S-A. That makes perfect sense. So I have found out over the years that I spell phonetically. F-O-N-E-T-I-C-A-L-Y. You don't need two L's. What the hell? And I spell like an Italian that is spelling in English, because the Italians spell phonetically. So I think I'm a phonetic speller. But I became very good at math, and that's why I'm an engineer. So here we got the wind indicator for this beautiful Waltham. And as you can see, it's pointing over here at like 10 or something, right? So when I installed all this stuff on this movement, what I did, I may be looking down because I want to look at my watch here. So when I installed this on the movement, what I did was I wound it up completely. I put the wind indicator at 40, which was over here, or sorry, 24, which was over here, which I assumed was 24 hours before the mainspring winds down. And then as the watch ran, the indicator actually moved in the other direction. So I'm like, okay, that's not how this works. So it's wound down now. So I think what I need to do now is take this wind indicator, take it off and put it back in, but put it in at the start position, 0, and then wind the watch up, and I should be able to see this indicator go all the way up to 24 and maybe past, right? I'm not sure if it goes past 24 when you wind it up. So I'm going to wind that baby up and see what happens. And then let's see. The other problem with this watch I have to show you. Okay, so it's not good. Not good at all. Not good at all. Oh yeah. This week at the forum. No, that's a wrestling guy, Randy Savage. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, the cream of the crop. Alrighty then. What we have here is a very beautiful Waltham watch with a, as I said before, wind indicator. So it's loose right now because I've loosened it up. And I've popped it off this pipe here because it was in the wrong position. So I had this wind indicator positioned over at the 24, and I thought it would go this way, wind down, and it went the other way. So as you can see the numbers here, the numbers start, it says up, and so I'm assuming it's 0 wind on the mainspring, and then as I wind the mainspring, this should turn this way, and this is a 24-hour mark. So this is down, so I guess it's going to wind down. Not sure. Before, when I installed it, I wound the watch up and put it here, thinking it was going to wind down this way. So still not really sure. So I took this out. So now I can play the game of figuring out where this thing goes. So to remove the hands or the wind indicator from this very beautiful Waltham pocket watch, 21 jewel railroad grade pocket watch, I use this very small piece of plastic. It's just from a plastic bag, and that way when I'm removing the hands and I have my 2 hand removers, one on the other side, I can press down here, snug it in, and then rotate for leverage, and I'm not worried about these tools actually scratching the face of the watch. So always use something like this, like a little tiny, very light plastic, so you can get underneath the actual stem of the root of the hand and lift it up. So I just recommend using one of these tools. like this. And then these little watch hand removers I got from AliExpress, and they work considerably well. They're pretty good. I upgraded to these recently, which are very nice hand removers, and these here you just use the outer edge instead of using the inside. So Mark showed me that. I watched one of Mark's videos, and Mark did that, and so I said whatever Mark is going to do, Mark is right, and I'm going to do what Mark does. I think I got Tourette's syndrome, not sure. So now I'm going to put this little hand here in the right position. So I might use this giant chunk of Rodico. I've been taking all my old Rodico and grouping it up, so it's still good for doing things like moving a hand around. A hand. So you can do that and grab it with the Rodico and then go in close. I probably will have to go in very close to put this thing back properly, because right now it's not back properly. So I need to get my 5 times loop on here and see if I can get in here and just play this game here. It's still the morning right now, so, and I think I've had 2 coffees, which is never good for watchmaking. And I want to line this up so it's on 0, which means that it's wound itself down completely. There we go, that's perfect actually. Now I think I can just take my bench key, so I've got one of these here for hand pressing, and I think I can just press straight down on this because it just wants to go right over this little stem thing. So I may use the metal end of that, or the white end of it. There we go, it popped down. And as you can see, it's pretty much on the 0, which is really nice. So now when I wind this up, the question is, will it move? Will it move? Before I do that though, I want to set the time. So right now it's, well no, I'll just wind this up, then I'll set the time. How's that sound? So let's watch and see if this indicator moves at all. So I got to pull this out. See, I cut my thumbnail perfectly. So now it won't pull this out nicely. I think to have a little bit of longer thumbnail, it's good, except sometimes it just looks disgusting, that's all. So that's watch setting, this is winding, so I made a mistake, I didn't really need to pull that out. Well, look at that, it's going the other way. Alright, I don't get it. Well, actually, maybe when it winds up all the way, if it goes the other way, then it unwinds and goes all the way down. That could be the trick. Couldn't tell you. Still winding. I think that's it. Now this thing, when it unwinds, it's going to go all the way around this way until it gets to here, I guess. Because when it stopped before, it was the other way. So I don't know. I'm just going to let this thing run because it doesn't make any sense at all right now. I can't figure this out. I may have to get a piece of paper out like I normally do and figure it out, which way the wind indicator needs to go. Because I started at 0, so theoretically it's going to unwind all the way around to 0, but this is kind of stupid because the actual numbers are here. So did I put this in wrong or something, or did it start wrong, or what is going on with the wind indicator? I need some comments on that, some suggestions, some, hey JD, why don't you read up on these wind indicators first before you reassemble them? Or, you know, I love what you're doing, but your wind indicator sucks. Or maybe it's a wind indicator, and the wind is now at 21 kilometers per hour up in Canada and 17.2 miles per hour in the US. maybe that's what's happening here. I don't friggin' know. Anyway, but it's now 12:09, so I'll just put it at 12:10. Be good. And then set this watch aside. I've got the watch movement holder here, so I'll just maybe put this down on here. I'm not sure. Is that a good idea? Yeah, it's running nicely. It's running really strong too, which I love. So I've done a good job in this watch in particular. This is adjusted to 5 positions. It's a Waltham. It's got the wind indicator, which is underneath or beside the barrel, I guess I could say. It's a beautiful, beautiful watch and a beautiful movement. So I'm hoping I get this wind indicator thing right. But for now, this is it. And this is going to unwind. So maybe 24 hours and it goes all the way around back down to here. I don't know. Who knows? We'll see. I wasn't expecting what happened though. So we shall see, folks. We shall see. So just for convenience, I'm going to rest the crystal on top here. It's not interfering with the hands at all. So just rest that on top and put the dust cover on. And now I have to address the case here. So what I have here is a swing out case. It's a J Boss 25 years. And what 25 years means is that it's guaranteed that the gold that's pressed on both sides, because it's a gold filled, which means there's gold, a small set, film of gold that's pressed on one side and it's pressed on the other side. So, and you see some machining here, which is really nice. I think it says LNC right there. So that was either the owner or that they put this on, or not sure what that is. LNC. So that's gorgeous. So this is a J Boss case. 25 years means it's guaranteed that for 25 years that the gold won't come off. If you look right here, right on the side here, you look, the gold has come off. So this watch was probably used for a lot longer than 25 years. And that's typical wear. There's some gold that's coming off right here as well. That's typical wear on one of these pocket watches. It's gold filled, which means they take two things of gold. They take gold and they flatten it out. So it's incredibly flat, and then it's called rolled gold, and then they squeeze the gold with I think copper in the middle, and then that's how they make their plates, and then they press this. So this is pressed. It's like a 1,000 or 10,000 pound press that presses this case to make it look like this, to shape it like this. So they don't pound it or anything. So this is a swing out case, and if you look at this case as a swing out case, I'll go to my other camera, that way you guys can see the swing out case, and it's nicely represented. So there's the swing out case. There's the see little tiny scale in the middle saying gold. 25 years J Boss. So this is a high-end case as far as I'm concerned. Now if you look in here, this is where the stem would come out, right? So if you're pushing down like that, you can see the remnants of the stem in there. Right in there, folks, right in there. In this case, you would put your watch case opener and right on the edge there, and then lift this up. So this is a swing out case. So when I reinstall the movement into this, you can see very lightly, this is where screws are here. One screw here, and then there's probably another screw on either side right there. So there's little marks where the screws will go in once I install the case. So this case, so the movement, once I install the movement, so the movement just sits down in here, and then you tighten it up with screws on this side and this side. And somebody, which is not uncommon, I'll say, somebody took this, opened this movement out without pulling out the crown. So if you don't pull out the crown when you open the movement, as you can see, that stem that's in there will snap off. So this stem has snapped off. I'm really, really hoping I can find a new stem for this. If I can't find a new stem, then I need to manufacture one. I need to make a stem for this on my lathe. Now, I've only made a few stems over the years because they're not easy to make, but I don't think it's a super hard job. It's not like making a balance staff, but it's a pain in the ass to have to make a stem. So, but I've got to remove this stem from here. So the only way to remove this stem from here is by grabbing it on this end by pliers and then twisting the crown until the crown unscrews from the stem and then pulling the whole thing out. So we're going to try to do that next. So what you need to do that is a pair of needle nose pliers to grab onto that stem on the inside while you turn the crown, and hopefully it releases from the stem because it's screwed in. And then I've got to do some stem measurements and stem hunting and all that wonderful stuff. So I'm hoping to be super lucky and just be able to go in here and then remove this without any problem. But the first thing I'm going to do is put this little piece of plastic in here, just in case my pliers slip or something, so I don't scratch the case on the inside. And then I've got to grab this stem, the stem like that, and hold it really tight, right, while I turn the crown here and pray. So let me get myself gripped up properly. So the tough part of this that I've just realized is that the stem here, where it snapped off, is round. So I have to grab that somehow. It's not going to be easy to grab because it's round. So I got to figure this one out. So I may have to grab it with a vice grip of some sort. It's very small, so grabbing this stem, it could be tricky as heck. I don't think I can push it out from the other side. It's possible maybe, but I don't know. You could ruin something else by doing this. So I'm going to work at this little stem for a while. Alright, it actually worked. So all I did was take my needle nose pliers and go in deep and at a little bit of an angle so I could grab the stem like that. And then as I turned, the crown released, which is kind of nice. Now I got to figure out how to take the stem out of here, which I think I can do it with a wrench. A wrench! So that's what it looks like on this side here. So it's still pretty crappy. So now I'm going to clean the edges of this just a bit so it's not so dirty. So just clean that up just a bit. A tad. My dad used to say tad. I think he still does. Just a tad. Just a bit. Where tad comes from, I'm not sure. So clean it up a tad. So if anybody knows where the term, that person is going to get their comeuppance. So where does that come from? As I've said in a past video, my wife uses it all the time. We're watching a show called Red Rock right now. It's a Irish television crime drama, I think, and it's shot from a police station. It's about these cops who are pretty cool people, but they're into all kinds of problems, murder and all kinds of drugs and stuff. I almost used the S word, trying to keep these videos clean. So because of that, there's all kinds of stuff going on. So there's this. Now I got to figure out how to remove the stem now. Can I punch that out the back, or do I pull it out from the top? Now the crown itself looks okay. It's a bit dirty in there, so I can clean this off. I think I'll just use a rag. I could throw it in an ultrasonic cleaner, but that's a lot of ultrasonic stuff to clean a little tiny stem, I think, right? So probably not necessary, but I got to clean that up as well. And you drop this on the movement. But the trick now is to remove this stem from here, and I think I've got a wrench for that, stem wrench or something. All right, a quick ADHD movement. What do you think that is? That's a big tool. A big tool, and I cleaned it up nicely. What do you think this tool is used for? I need some suggestions. Tell me what you think this tool is used for. Please. Please. All right, I farted around with this for a while, and I found out that the trick in doing this is to just push the stem down to the not the setting, but the winding position, and then just pull it from the other side, and the stem will come right out the other way. So that's the simplest way of removing the stem from these type of watches. And if I look at this, let me just grab a cloth here for a second. I've got this thing, and it's snapped off, as you can see, right on the end there. So that's where it's snapped off. right there. So, and it's square, as you can see right there where it snapped off. So I've got a choice here. I could try and put a piece of square metal in there, just basically drill that out and put a round piece of metal in there. It's like pivoting, right? And then file it down so it's square to this size. So that's one thing I could do. The other thing I could do is just make a brand new stem, which is a little trickier because this stem actually tapers down. As you can see, it goes from here, it's threaded, that's where the crown goes. It tapers down to here, and then right here where this little ridge is, that's where you snap in and out, because there's a spring on the inside of that of the stem of the crown mechanism, and that's where it snaps in and out. So it's very, very tricky. So I might try to drill this out. I'd have to drill it out to almost there, like pretty deep, and then put a piece of metal in there that's wide enough to be able to carve the square stem part that I have here. And then I've got to determine how far out this goes, right, so that it interacts with the movement, with the square, inward square hole in the movement. So I'm going to think about this for a few minutes, but that's pretty much the disassembly of the watch and the stem, and I think we'll make another video once I figure out how this works. Oh, and one more thing. The third plan could be to find one in all the parts I have. I might have a stem. Who knows? I'll have to look and see. Alright, this is an adjunct to my video, so thinking about this wind indicator. So if it's going to go clockwise when it unwinds, it's stupid because all of the indicators are down here. So I really need to put, once it's wound up completely, I guess the word up, wound up, then I need to have this wind indicator over here somewhere, not over here and then winding it up. So you wind it up fully I tell you, and then move the stupid thing over. So let me see if I can move this once again. Oh my God! In the words of David Letterman, oh my God. So just push this thing back up again. This is fully wound right now. So fully wound, put it such that it is like this, fully wound. And then I'm gonna see if I can push this down with my tweezers. Look at that, eh? I think I push it again with this so it snaps down. So there, I think that's in there really good. Let me see. Yeah, that's in there good. So now it's saying wound up 0. And when this winds down, this should go this way until it hits 24, which means it's been running for 24 hours. Fully wound 0, 24 hours, and I think it's going to go past this by just a bit, which means when it hits close to 24 hours, you better wind this thing up again. And when you wind it up, this little wind indicator should go the other way. So we'll test that later, but for now, that's that. Keep my fingies, well, this has got a really nice dust cover, so I don't have to worry about my fingies getting in the way and fouling it. So I'm going to pull this out again, set the time. Set the time. Love this movement. I love this movement. It's a wonderful watch movement. So I'm going to set the time. It is now 1 on the clock. 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock. 1:04. 1:04. There we go. 1:04. Push that in like that. Put that in the old TRAY tray. And then that's all good like that. And now I got to get to work on this crown thing. So there you go. So thanks for watching the video. I think this job is going to be a little bit harder than I thought. I'm going to try to source that stem that you see over here. The crown is in good condition. I just need to clean that up. The stem is broken off on the end, as I said, and I could drill that out and insert a piece of metal and then square that off. I think that might be a good option because if I screw this up, there's no issue, right? I can start from the beginning and make a new stem with the source as a sample. But then again, if I've got to make a new stem, I've got to thread the end of it. I've got to do a lot of work to make that stem, so that's quite a manufacturing process. It's doable. It's very doable. I've made stems before. It just takes a long time, so that'll take up my whole Sunday, I think, making a stem. And then I might not videotape all the stem making because it's a pain in the butt to videotape. Sometimes it's a pain in the butt to videotape something that's so precise like that when you're trying to get around and do the work. So I think the first thing I'm going to do, though, is try to drill that out, shove in a piece of steel, blued steel, that's the size of the square part of the stem, and I can use the movement itself to measure the dimension of that square part, and then see if I can do that, because that would be perfect. Because if I can do that, then I can just add that to the tip of that stem, and then screw the crown back on, put a little Loctite on that screwed crown, and then we're good to go, and that would work perfectly. So I think I'll try that first. So do a little bit of drilling. I think I can drill this out using my watchmaker's lathe, and the hole to drill out would be pretty big, so I'm not too worried. The tricky part is center tapping the hole, so I have to make sure that I tap this perfectly in the center. And as you can see, there's the stem there, and there's the end. I'd have to drill this out, tap it, and then leave enough material to be able to basically grab that piece of blued steel I put in here and then file it square. So that's the trick. So I think I'll try doing that first, as it might be a little bit easier. All right, last but not least, thanks for watching my video. As you can see up here, where's here, right there. If you want to get a hold of me, jdwatchservice@gmail.com. I'm busy as crap at work, so I'm not taking a lot of watch work unless it's from Canada, so I don't have to deal with the border stuff, which makes it very difficult right now. Someday when I retire, the border stuff won't be that difficult. I'll figure it out. However, I'll take Canadian pocket watches right now, but not if they're very difficult, because I don't have a lot of time right now. I will have more time in about a year. So you can get a hold of me if you have any questions. I still have some stuff on the bench right now I'm finishing off. And thanks for watching my videos. And have a good weekend, and see you later.